This video is our group gravel ride in the middle of August 2023 where we set off from Callander to Killin and back. We met at the McLaren Sports Centre and headed off up the cycle path which winds through the Lenny Woods along the bank of the River Lenny and leads to the southern end of Loch Lubnaig. The forecast looked like we may get away with it if we were lucky. Our luck held out for about 15 minutes though, when we were rudely soaked in a very heavy 10-minute downpour. This is one of our favourite routes and we noticed signs of a few improvements and investment in the cycling infrastructure, which is always encouraging.
Oh, they fixed this as well. Well, they spent a few bob here, haven't they? That is good, isn't it?
Big muddy path.
Alan Zubis for the first time on his new Sonda. Happy new bike day, big man.
Oh, loving it.
Ah, it's a nice looking bike. Got a few bumps here.
This is the first real challenge of the day, the gravel switchbacks which become progressively steeper towards the top as you climb up above the north end of Loch Lubnaig at Trossachs. The stats for this wee section are that it's 0.21 miles long, hits a maximum gradient of 19.2% with an average gradient of 9.8%. If you're enjoying this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Subscribing is free and I need less than 30 new subscribers to hit the 1000 mark, which would be fantastic, so thanks to everyone who has done so. If you'd like to follow any of our routes, you can download the GPX files by following me on Strava at Douglas Gilligan RACC. We then passed the eastern side of Loch Foyle on the way into Balquhidder. As it was Alan's first time out with us, we stopped at the Balquhidder church to let him see the grave of Rob Roy McGregor. It still amazes me to think that he reached the age of 63 given that he was born in the 17th century, when the average life expectancy was only 37. Thanks Google. Note to self, eat more lamb. There has been a reintroduction of beavers in this area and they've constructed a dam here on the right hand side of the path. So far I've never seen a beaver in the wild, but being the eternal optimist, I remain hopeful. The second main challenge is the tarmac section of zigzags which climb up above Loch Ernhead. This comes towards the 18 mile mark of this route and the stats for this section are that it's 0.54 miles long, rises 222 feet and again becomes increasingly steep towards the top. The average gradient is slightly lower at 7.7%, but the maximum gradient hits a nippy 21.5%. Gary and I pretty much climbed this together, and throughout the climb he advised me of how far we still had to go. I'm not sure what's actually better, to know or not to know. Even though I've done this route many times, I'm pretty sure he was just winding me up. Or perhaps it was just a personal distraction technique for the big man.
Well done, lads. Well done, lads. One more. And relax.
Following these switchbacks, there's a steady gradient to the top of Glenorgle, over the spectacular old railway bridge, and then on down to Killin. I always enjoy this part of the ride, which passes through two wooded sections and past a very pretty wee loching before dispatching you on the edge of Killin. After a nice descent, we arrived in Killin, with the falls of Dockert looking quite full and impressive, and we headed for the Capercaillie for a bite of lunch. The tail end of the Women's World Cup final was on the TV in there, and thankfully there was room for them to take us.
Hi, boy.
Somebody
nicked his bacon roll.
Oh, hell.
He's getting a slap.
It's a nice wee spot, isn't it? Having been fed and watered, I left the Capercaillie and cracked on to get some drone footage of the lads. After 5 minutes or so, Malky and Craig passed me, advising that, on leaving the restaurant, Chris discovered a wee tyre pressure issue that he was having to deal with. As there were more than enough hands to assist him with that, and knowing that we had a 3-mile climb back out of Killin to the top of Glenorgle, I decided to buy myself a little time and set off on my Todd. This proved to be one of my better decisions, and I had a bit of time to relax at the top before the lads arrived, most of them blowing heavily out of their arses.
Well done, son, a wee tyre pressure issue. There's a bold hand in his clip-in sandals and his fixed wheel. Well, single speed, sorry, no fixed wheel. You're meant to make it look as if you're enjoying yourself, lads.
I can't believe you did that on a single. Cheers.
Well done, big chap. Yes, well done. Well done, Gary boy. Well done, Alan. It's stopping for lunch day, isn't it? That's a nightmare. Alright, cool. How you doing, man? Introduce yourself.
I'm John.
How you doing, John?
I'm on my way to Killin and then
Good
back
lad,
again.
good lad.
You alright?
Oh well, Joseph, you've done the kind of hard bit coming up Glenorgle. Get yourself down to Killin, a wee nice wee freewheel.
Nice and easy with this route.
Well done, son. Good luck.
Once again, there's serious kudos for Andy, rather him than me climbing the 3 miles on a single speed. It's always nice to crest at the top of Glenorgle on the way back, as you know that you've definitely broken the back of your climbing for the day. The descent back down towards Loch Ernhead was usually a time to relax a little, but the lads kept pushing it on, making negotiating the gates that little bit trickier. The switchbacks are so much easier on the way back, and you get a wee chance to look east along the length of Loch Ern, which is a quite lovely view. Although this ride is an out and back, it changes slightly on the return leg, where we follow the old railway line through Strathire before dropping down the switchbacks again and back along Loch Lubnaig.
Nice wee bit of sun peeking through. Filming you, filming me, filming you, filming me. Aha!
This route may not appeal to gravel purists, as there are quite a few sections of tarmac, but the scenery more than makes up for it. We organise this route 3 or 4 times a year, and it was nice to see that there have been a few wee improvements to the route where the local authorities have obviously been spending some money. I followed Alan down these switchbacks to try and get some footage, but there are some tricky wee tight corners with washout type cambers, and you have to treat them with a little caution.
How's your belly? Is it settled? Yeah. Not something I possess, unfortunately, you know, even in the van.
Thankfully we had fairly good weather, with the exception of that early shower, although it did look like there had been a little rain as we headed back towards Callander.
Good work. Yes. Well done, Al. Nice to meet you, man. Well done, Al. Good day, 9 out. Callander, Killin and back. Tailwind out, headwind back. So not great. But aye, good fun. Enjoyable. Very good fun. Enjoyable. Well done, lads. Good work.
On the ride by the numbers, we covered 47 miles with 2,600 feet of climbing and at a rather sprightly average speed of 13.1 mph.